Well, a perfect homestand for the Dodgers, and Shohei Ohtani continues to prove that he's the best player on the face of the planet. However, his recent success has sparked an interesting conversation about Ohtani. My name is Ryan Bershinger, and we are going to get into that conversation and examine the future of Shohei Ohtani with the Dodgers.
Shohei Ohtani isn't the only one with success. Let's be real. The entire offense has had success. But what is the realistic expectation moving forward since it's very early in the season? We're going to dive into that. I'm Monse Bolaños.
And I am Beau Benson, and I'm going to tell you why the MVP race is all but over in the beginning of May.
Finally in May baseball, this is the Sick Podcast, the Dodgers Zone. Let's go.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. The Dodgers Zone.
Strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, as I mentioned, that is a perfect 6 games in a row for the Dodgers at home, sweeping the Atlanta Braves and, less impressively, sweeping the Miami Marlins.
Jeez,
Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
Just gonna give him a kick on the way out. way to go, Jazz! You hit a couple home runs. Good for you. You can run your mouth as your team is down by 7. Good job.
He can't. He has 2 grand slams this season already. He's trying. You can't hate on him. He's doing what he can for the Marlins. Okay,
that's true. You're right. I can't.
I can hate on him a lot. It's very easy. That dude stinks.
Miguel Rojas can also continue to hate on him.
Yeah.
Did
you guys see Miguel Rojas definitely made fun of his little jump shot motion today at the end of the game? He did that. He did it.
That dude hates them.
Yeah. That's such an odd pairing to hate each other too. I don't know. It's just weird.
You gotta find somebody, You gotta find somebody.
I guess. I don't know. That's rough.
An amazing homestand, and look at that. Just since Monse and I recorded without you, Beau, last time. Yeah. Sorry, we had to put you on suspension.
Fine. Whatever.
It is. When you say the things you did, you gotta go sit in the corner for a little bit.
I didn't even say anything.
I was just flexing my power. It's fine.
Yeah, dude. We do have to talk about this at some point. Monse and I have been talking. You're going off the handle a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll sit one out next week. I'll just. The Dodgers haven't lost since the last time we recorded this.
Yeah,
which is wonderful.
They might not lose again.
Yeah. Is that because Beau wasn't here? Is that why we won?
That's a good point.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're going to get swept by the Padres now, so.
Shit.
Well, I don't understand why you're putting this out in the universe.
Hey, I'm not. Bob Nightingale is, though.
Oh, okay.
That's his new team right there. San Diego Bobdres.
Every pitcher on the face of the planet is awful, except for the amazing Dylan Cease, who threw a one-hitter through 7 or 8 innings today and striking out 10. He's got the Cy Young wrapped up. At least he's got Bob Nightingale's vote wrapped up.
Yeah, he might blossom into a top 10 NL starter this season.
As I mentioned, they swept the Marlins, but after sweeping the Atlanta Braves, which is amazing. and they did so in pretty dominant fashion for a handful of these games. And we're going to get into a lot of the intricacies over this last week here. But, of course, as I mentioned off the top, the big highlight is Shohei Ohtani being Shohei Ohtani, which is the fact that when you bring a star in and he performs as advertised, it's just wonderful. Oh my goodness.
It's a new feeling.
It really is. And you have Monse. Did you was it Monday night where he hit the 450-foot bomb? And you got to win.
Actually, I don't know if it was that night. He hit a back-to-back homer, but I think the deep one was the night before. Actually,
sure. Okay.
Yeah, which was just on the verge of being an out of park home run, you know, which only certain people have done that at Dodger Stadium. He was like just a little short. I think that was the night before, not on Monday.
Okay. He's going to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's going to at some point.
Yeah. But you did get to witness one in person on Monday, and I believe that was a highlight.
It was right after Friday. Everybody just looked at each other and we're like, "Did that just happen? Did we again?"
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
We played I was at work that night, and they played the highlight on the Jason Smith show after the game, and they mentioned they played the TV call, and the TV call picks up the crack of the bat, and it is the loudest crack of the bat you'll ever hear.
I just said that. I was like, why every single time he makes contact, it sounds different, especially when you're at the stadium. It sounds so different. You're like, yeah, that was Ohtani. Like that's crazy.
That's amazing. You can witness an Ohtani home run at the stadium without being in your seat. You're in the concourse. Yeah. You're 3 Modelo's deep, and you're like, either the stadium's falling apart or Ohtani just hit a home run.
Yep.
It's different having a guy like that on the team.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I was at the stadium for Stanton's home run that left the park.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that was crazy. Like you could tell I wasn't even watching the game at that point. I was not in the stands at all. And I heard it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's leaving the stadium. Like that's not staying in the ground. So yeah, Ohtani's gonna run into one, but it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Stanton, he just hit a ball at 119.9 tonight, which now tops Ohtani for the hardest hit ball in the season. So maybe we're a little premature here on Ohtani. Suddenly, that's one less category he's leading the majors in now.
Giancarlo is the best hitter in baseball. I'm ready to say it.
Giancarlo, stop. But Aaron Judge looks like he could hit a ball like that. No disrespect to Ohtani.
Oh yeah.
But where does it come from? He doesn't look like he could hit the ball like that.
No, truly. Like he doesn't, and even like mechanically, like his swings are so wild that sometimes you're like, where is all of this power coming from? Because he's swinging out of his shoes, but it doesn't appear to be balanced yet. It's incredible. And to consistently hit the ball as hard as he does just shows how insane his accuracy is and how incredible his hand-eye coordination is and how in tune he is with his entire body, his mechanics. Even though they might look wild, they are so perfect that it creates and generates this power like crazy. It's just it's remarkable. It's remarkable. We get to witness this for the rest of our lives. It's
right.
Wait, what? Hold on. What's up now?
Listen, guys.
You got anything you want to share?
Let's just look at it.
I posted that one of the homers, and it's always that little hop he does after he catches one. Like that, it's always that. That's how you know.
Yeah.
You got a good hold of one. And it's really cute.
It is.
I will stand by that. It's really cute that he does that. He's like Superman, dude. Like when he's just wearing regular baggy clothes because he thinks that it's still 2005 in the NBA draft, like he looks like Clark Kent, but then he puts on a baseball uniform and he turns into Superman. That's the only explanation.
That's okay. That I did want to mention that I think we did find the one thing that Shohei Ohtani is not good at, and it's dressing himself.
Yeah, okay. No, that's
I mean, when he's like in just athletic gear, he looks fine.
Yes.
I was told that's the fashion in Japan, dude. So now you're being insensitive.
Listen, I'm sorry. The man is like 6'5", and he wore a jacket that's too big for him.
Okay,
like where did he find that?
He probably got it out of LeBron's closet. Got it out of LeBron's closet. That's probably what he wore to the draft.
I consider doing as a whole topic just going into some Met Gala out or not.
Yeah,
Met Gala. The Dodgers Gala out.
The Dodgers,
their own Met Gala.
I mean, we can talk about the Met too if you want to. I mean,
here's
Kim
my
Kardashian looked like she was going to pass out. Jesus.
Yeah. Chelsea Freeman looked amazing at the Dodger Gala.
You don't got to tell me twice.
I have no comment.
That even trying, and she's a smoke show.
Interesting. I was only looking at the guys. Sorry.
I
like Yamamoto. just kind of standing there.
Okay, I believe Dodger Blue posted the picture of him, or it might have been our friend Blake Williams via Dodger Blue, or he's with anyway.
Yeah.
In one of those shots, Yamamoto looks like a wax figure of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Like the way he's standing, he's like he's just so rigid. But his suit was high quality. Like that was he was among the top in terms of the dress. But my one Met Gala take was I had to go and Google how much Ben Simmons played this year because I saw like ESPN or something like posted a picture of him at the Met Gala, and I was like, is he still relevant enough to go to this? Like, is that like what? We're playing Ben Simmons here?
Yeah, you have to be invited, but obviously it's because he's involved in fashion. It has to be, or like he's donated money, but you do have to get invited. And definitely he put a lot of effort into the outfit, more effort into playing.
When you say he's involved in fashion, is that like, does he work on Wicked? Like, because he looked like a Broadway villain.
Yeah.
Wow.
1,000%. There was a lot of detail to his outfit.
There was
a lot of detail.
There's a big clock in his briefcase. It was something. If you
Sorry, Ben.
If you count the Met Gala as a game played this season, Ben Simmons played 16 games this season. So.
Nice.
Anyway, let's talk about the Dodgers. That's me going in on Ben Simmons.
Clip that.
So the conversation that has risen up over the last week about Shohei Ohtani is a conversation that I've heard in the past. And it's this idea of like, hey, if he's this good when he's not pitching, should he just hit? Should he give up on pitching in general? I think it's an interesting discussion because on one hand, it's hard when you have somebody as special as Shohei Ohtani, you want to roll him out there as much as you can. And in the past, when this conversation has come up, I've always been on the side of no, let him do everything. But there were a couple reasons for that, right? Like one, he's on the Angels. And but in a serious sense, like he was their best pitcher. They needed him to pitch. They needed him to do everything in order for them to ever have a chance of winning anything. And on the other hand, from a broader scale, him doing everything was so special for Major League Baseball. And in terms of growing the game, both domestically and internationally, having this star who could do everything on the field was so incredibly unique and so special, and being elite at all of it. Why would you want to hold that back in any way? Now that we're seeing what he's doing to start this season, I can be convinced that's where I'm at now. I can be convinced that maybe he never pitches again if he really does produce at this level offensively when he's never pitching. We've seen him being able to be this good when he is pitching. For the last, obviously, you don't win 2 MVPs without being incredibly good offensively. And he's been able to do that while pitching at a high level. But at the same time, you do have to wonder, like, there is levels of fatigue that come in when you're pitching. And that has to carry over to your offense in some way, shape, or form. And we also know that, quite frankly, it's not going to be possible for him to pitch the entirety of his contract. We've talked about this. He's probably only going to pitch for a couple of years anyway because he got yet another surgery, which don't call it Tommy John, but like it basically is. And so we're at a point where it's either like, all right, then we have him pitch the next 2 or 3 seasons, but he's going to go back to being a full-time DH anyway. Why not maximize his offensive output by just letting him do that? And if you're going to have a rotation that's as strong as the Dodgers have, and you can put your faith in the Dodgers into not only like continuing to develop young arms to be successful in this rotation, but also adding high quality outside of the organization to keep that rotation strong and not necessarily needing Ohtani, I think there is a case to be made for him to not do both in the future. But right now, obviously, he's just going to hit this season. I don't think he should touch the mound at all this season, especially with the way he's performing. And because of his recovery, that's just how it's going to be. But it is a conversation that I find myself more open to in the future if he does, in fact, finish the season and be hitting like 350 with 50 home runs.
Jesus.
I hear what you're saying, Ryan, that the conversation is more interesting as we dive deeper into, what he's doing. Players, definitely, they're investments. So the organization, they're going to try to protect their investment. And they're obviously going to protect the $700 million investment. Hello, my dog just walked in. So if you guys hear him bark,
put that dog on.
I can't carry him. He's 85 pounds. I can't carry this thing. But he just chilled out. You're all right. Be good. Don't bark. Okay. I understand it's an investment and I understand the business and I understand you want to protect it and all, but like I am still going to say, let him do both because I think he's going to push to do both. And if you make him not do that, I think that's where it can go bad. Now, can you convince him to change your mind? Kind of like you said, we're not going to have him pitch for 10 years. We already know that. He's gone through 2 Tommy John surgeries. Don't play with me. That's what he's had. So maybe
he had Johnny Tom.
It's
totally different.
Naturally happen that he takes a step back. But to have these conversations now, to me, is what's ridiculous. He's not pitching right now. He can't. But I bet you his ass, or I bet you whatever, that he wants to do both. And the minute he can, he's going to go. And you can't stop him. So that's why I think the conversation is just a little bit too early. But I understand. It's a business. I get it.
It's fun to think about. I think if they really get down to it, I think you can find a nice middle ground. I would just approach him to come in relief. If he really wants to pitch, that's what I think I would do. And if that's the route the Dodgers want to take. An underrated thing that nobody's really talking about, he's not pitching, but also maybe we just need to get him embroiled in a gambling scandal every single year for the rest of his contract. Maybe that's the secret here.
No.
We just find we find an interpreter to wire themselves $60,000 for dental work and then just cash that check. And then he hits, 60 home runs.
No. Is the answer.
I mean, that could be the reason he's hitting so well. We don't know. We can't rule it out until next year. So,
what's his?
Come back. We're gonna rehire him just to start this over again.
That's right.
What's the current interpreter's name?
Will Ireton.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Will.
Will the Thrill, Will the Thrill get ready to learn DraftKings, buddy?
Oh man.
You could also put him in the field if you don't want him to pitch.
Sure.
You just stick him out in right field.
Right.
If you're trying to make sure he's not just a DH, but I don't really.
I don't think he right now just wants to be a DH. There's no way.
I don't think he does either.
But
this is this is where you have to do what's best for the team, and the Dodgers will cross that road when they come to it, but they don't have to. It's not. Yeah. It's not something they have to worry about right now.
They don't.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I couldn't help but notice that I think Mike Petrello kind of brought it up a week ago, and then I saw MLB Network talking about it, and I find the conversation to be interesting enough that it is an observation that people are making. I know Chris Broussard and Rob Parker brought this up all the time when Ohtani was with the Angels, was he should just do one and be elite at it. And with the Angels, I never agreed because, I said,
I wanted to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we got no stake in it. We want to see them. We want to see them play like this. So to have that level of show, it drew people, because baseball is just such a regional sport, right? It's so hard to get people to buy into the game nationally and watch other teams, because you're always invested in your team and your team plays every day. And unless you I don't know, you got a whole lot of time on your hands, you're watching full baseball games of other teams that you don't really care about. To have a draw like Ohtani, that was something that needed to be maximized.
Yeah, I don't understand why anyone said that while he was an Angel. There was no issues. He was successful. He would pitch and then hit a home run. Why now it's because of his second Tommy John that it's a legit conversation to have moving forward. I still think it's very early. But back then when people were saying that, Rob Parker and Chris Broussard, I was y'all sit down. This man is changing baseball. Do not suggest this, especially just because he was doing it successfully. So it was oh, just for fear of what? Injury? Shut up. No. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm with Ryan here, that I'm just like, I guess you could get me to change my mind. I just still think it's a conversation.
Yeah, I'll entertain it, but it's just there's no reason to right now. There's no. Okay, can we go back to sweeping the Braves real quick? Yeah, I just have a quick thought. I kind of mentioned it to you, Ryan. Wouldn't it be nice if like the Dodgers were just good wire to wire this year?
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of like the vibe I get from sweeping the Braves like that. Like that's the first like big circled series on the calendar. And it was like they just beat the shit out of them. Excuse my language, but like that's what they did. Yeah. And then the Sunday game where they throw Paxton out there, that's like the white flag game, and they still beat the shit out of them. I've always wanted the Dodgers one time to just be that team that is wire to wire good, and they did it in 2017. But like, whatever. Fuck that year. No, I don't want to think about that anymore. But yeah, that was about as good of a feeling as series in early April or late April, early May can get.
Yeah. And as you mentioned too, like even winning the throwaway game with the Paxton start, because they did, like that was Max Muncy hit 3 home runs, and Dave Roberts, who apparently had to follow a 3 home run rule for Trace Thompson, which by the way, remember that just a year ago that happened. Trace Thompson hit 3 home runs in a game. I think he hit like 1 home run after that, and now I don't know where he is. He's been on like 3 different teams.
He's on the jolly streets of London right now, dude.
But like then Muncy didn't play the day after hitting his, and it was because it was such like they did not take that game as heavily because of the getaway day. You had, and I think this was the same game too, where like you have Chris Taylor and Miguel Rojas and Kike all playing in the lineup, and despite that, like Mookie was still playing shortstop. And this is like the one knock that I have on the team over the last week. If Miguel Rojas is on the field, he should be playing shortstop. Yeah. I understand that right now Mookie is the everyday shortstop and you want him to get those reps at short. But when you continue to put him in there, when you have a better defensive shortstop playing, not even third, playing at second. Today he was playing at second. And when you are not maximizing defensive output in that manner, you're sending the message that you believe that Mookie may be the long-term solution at shortstop. And I really don't think he is. I think he's better utilized either at second or in the outfield because he's still very much learning that position. And I don't fault him in any way. No. He can still play shortstop pretty well for a guy who hasn't played there in a decade. But when they continue to put him there at short, when they have better defenders playing less optimal positions, it's sending the message that you think Mookie's going to be there in the playoffs. Which means that we're not, Willy Adames is not going to be an option then, or whoever outside of the organization.
Yeah, I mean, the Brewers are a little better than I think anybody really thought they would be.
Yeah.
And with the deadline being moved back and the expansion of the playoffs, you can't really count on, we'll just get Adames and move Mookie to second. So, this is just the one thing they've always done. They've never had a plan at shortstop after Seager left.
Right.
But you can't count on any team wanting to help the Dodgers at any point this year.
Oh, yeah.
You can't count on – it doesn't matter if it's the Marlins and they've lost 75 in a row. No team is going to want to help the Dodgers. No team is going to want –
I don't know.
Are you kidding me? They're not. Why would I try and help the team that has a built championship on their roster? Why would anyone want to do that?
Because I need to strengthen my farm system. I don't think teams really care. We did that. I mean, it's different sport, but like back when KD signed with the Warriors, like everyone was like, "Oh, nobody's going to help them open up cap space." And then like the day after, they did a trade with the Mavericks because the Mavs don't care. Like they needed to open up roster space themselves. So I really buy into that, but I think just the expansion of the playoffs more than anything, like teams have no incentive to sell at this point, like at all, because everybody gets into the postseason.
the Dodgers will be able to get players. They're just gonna have to pay way more than any other team does.
Yeah.
Like that's their problem, is that their teams are gonna levy the Dodger tax on them. And for a guy like, again, with Adames, if the Central is winnable for the Brewers, even though they already sold prior to the season, they said we're selling. Let's trade away our best pitcher. And Adames is in a contract year, so like it makes sense. But it would cost the Dodgers way more than it would cost any other team. And so because of that, like, yeah, they're going to be prevented from making other deals. Absolutely. Like, teams are not going to want to help them. But if the Dodgers also have a better farm system than anybody, so like the teams will opt to help themselves if they can, but that's going to be by taking advantage of the Dodgers. And it will also block deals. Absolutely.
Yeah. What did the Padres give up for Arias? Like nothing?
Well, I thought there were a couple decent prospects in that deal. Like
That's crazy. How do they have any decent prospects left?
Right. I mean, it wasn't their best, absolutely, but it was one was, I thought, in their top 10. It wasn't nothing, but at the same time, it was still kind of a surprise that deal was a surprise, because the only thing the Padres have is like middle infielders who can't play middle infield. Like it's really bizarre.
It's crazy to me. I don't know how AJ Preller still has a job. Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating.
Like Luis Ariz, Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth. You've already moved Tatis to the outfield. And Hassan Kim is also there, like, and he's their best one who can actually play defense. So like it's a really weird. And of course Manny Machado's taking up third. So like I don't know. I don't like, he got 4 hits right away. So
hey,
whatever. Fine. I guess people already wanted to throw the Tony Gwynn tag on him, and good thing Padres fans were like, "Don't you fucking do that! Like, don't say that." Anyway, just to wrap up the thoughts on Ohtani, I think the idea, this concept of like, what if he's just used as a reliever, I think does kind of excite me, because imagine games where you now have an extra reliever in the pen, right? Like you can rest guys by using your DH to pitch in the 8th inning. Like that would be insane. And to also have this atmosphere of like Ohtani hits a home run in the 1st inning, and in the 9th inning he comes in to close the game, the stadium would go nuts. Like that'd be incredible. They just go full WWE with the closers entrance. Please. That'd be sick. We'll find
what's the closer in Minnesota?
John Duran.
That's so sick.
It's really good. Yeah. Like that, his entrance is excellent. But I think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about this, I think there is a closer right now in the league using Hell's Bells as their intro. And that to me is blasphemous. Like nobody's going to use Enter Sandman, because that's always going to be Mariano Rivera. Yeah. But Trevor Hoffman deserves that respect as well. Nobody should ever use Hell's Bells, because that's Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I do think somebody is using that now.
Yeah. Shame. Bastard. When Ryan finds out who you are, expect a strongly worded letter.
Expect a strongly worded message on Instagram.
Monse, I know you wanted to dive more into the offense, because as we're talking about this Braves series especially, the offense really stepped up.
I mean, the offense I feel like is clicking. You know, last time Ryan and I, when you weren't here, Beau, when you were off gallivanting.
Thank you. Thank you. Good reminder.
Yeah, we talked about how just things weren't clicking, right? Like it's like one game this is going well, the other game the other thing's going well, but never at the same time. Everything seems to be clicking, but like everyone on the offense seems to be clicking. I mean, season high 7 wins in a row. They've outscored their opponents in the last 16 games 100-31. Like if that's not complete dominance, Dexter. If that's not complete dominance, I don't know what is. We went from Max Muncy having a hat trick to then a grand slam. Gavin Lux hitting a home run for the first time in over a year since April 15th of 2022. Remember, Oscar Hernandez started hot, dropped. Now he's hot again. He was responsible for all the runs in today's game against the Marlins. Like, it's just it's not the top of the lineup anymore right now. It seems like it's actually spreading out throughout all 9 hitters, which is so nice to see. Teoscar Hernandez is really, I think, the one where I'm like, I'm so glad to see you bounce back already. That's a really good sign. And I feel like that's kind of where I want to see where this direction goes into, or the conversation of like, what's a realistic expectation? With Beau, you just said in the show right now, if we could have a clean, win season from beginning to end, right?
So
I don't see that happening. So we have to be realistic that there will be a dip once again at some point with the offense, but we obviously want it to pick back up when it matters the most. It's going to be at the end of the season going into the playoffs. But I think that's what's realistic. It's like right now they're super, super hot, super hot. I don't think this is going to be from wire to wire. There's no way. There's no way the offense stays like this. It's not that I don't want it to happen. I'm just being realistic here.
It's possible.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Andy Pages is he's the reason that they've kind of like pulled things up, because there's no longer just a glaring black hole there at the 7, 8, 9 spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pages has done everything they've asked him to do. They can't send him back down. Chris Taylor has about 2 weeks until Jason Hayward's ready, and then Chris Taylor's getting DFA'd. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody. So yeah, Pages has really opened up the offense. And also, yeah, like they're number 1, I think, in like every offensive category in baseball.
Yeah.
They're clicking right now. And I don't know. I don't really see a reason why they wouldn't be, because they're going to be led by 3 of the most consistent hitters in baseball all season long. So I mean, it's possible. The pitching is, as always, I pat myself on the back. Like, I don't know why everybody was so scared of the starting pitching. Like, the Dodgers just always have good starting pitching. They just do. It's always a thing that they have, and it's probably only going to get better because they'll, trade for some arms or something like that. But like, I think it's possible. I hope I would love it. I don't think there's been a team like that since like the 2009 Yankees that was just good the entire season. So yeah, hopefully.
And to your point about the pitching, like somebody who needs to be mentioned is Gavin Stone.
Yes.
He's been fantastic. This is 3 straight starts now where he's looked phenomenal. He pitched very well against the Braves, and that I think is super telling of where he's at this point. Like he's highly dependable in this rotation now, and I think that when Bobby Miller comes back, but we're a half hour into this, we haven't even mentioned that Walker Buehler is back, which is wild. And to summarize my thoughts on Buehler's return, I thought he was fine. I think the fact that he was sitting 96 was actually better than I expected. He did his first inning. The hits kind of got through on him. Jazz Chisholm got an infield single because the Dodgers are the only team he tries against. And but overall, I thought he was fine. I think this is kind of what we're going to see from Buehler for at least a month or two.
Yeah.
Where he did touch 98 one time, and I almost kind of, I don't know, I feel like he kind of did it on accident, but it was, but it's like if he's able to sit 96 and get people out, because one thing that I was on the post game, in his press conference, Buehler talked about the fact that, like, he said, look, I know I can get people out if I'm throwing 92, and which is where his cutter sits at. He was sitting at 92, but that's his cutter. And that's why it's a little lower in velocity. But he's like, I know I can get people out if I'm throwing 90, 91, 92. And Jerry Harrison said, if you can get people out at that speed, then just do that. Because if you're going to risk hurting yourself again, then do what's going to be most effective. Granted, Buehler is very effective because of his velocity. And for him to not be sitting at 98 is not ideal, obviously, but also I don't know if we're ever going to fully get that version of Buehler back, at least not this season. But I still thought he was fine. But the point about Gavin Stone is that Gavin Stone has been excellent.
Yeah.
And he's been very dependable in the rotation. And when Bobby Miller comes back, things are going to be pretty interesting, where you'll be able to do like a 6-man rotation at some point again, where we can kind of manage guys' workloads a little bit, because we want Glass now to still be fresh at the end of the season. We want Yamamoto to be fresh at the end of the season, because the staff as a whole, everybody has turned in very strong outings over the last couple of weeks.
I wanna see Buehler against the Padres. I think he's starting on Sunday. I don't think it's a coincidence that they made sure his first start was against the Marlins. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's fine. The velocity to me seems more like adrenaline than anything.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, you can't complain. It's his first time back on the mound in 2 years or something like that. So it was good.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. I don't want to see him pitch 98, if I'm being honest with you. I don't do that. Place the ball. That's the one thing. Even like when it just comes to older pitchers, like Pedro Martinez literally said, when you lose that oomph, you have to learn to place the ball. That becomes suddenly more important than your speed. And so for him to come back from a second Tommy John, 20 months since throwing in a Major League Baseball game, I don't want to see 98 right now. I don't need to see that. Yeah. I just need to see that you can still control your pitch. And then, if we ramp up to it, okay. But right now it's like, I don't want to see that. Please don't do that.
It makes me think that GIF of Yamamoto that I sent you guys. The break on his curveball is
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, pitching ninja posted that.
Yeah, get that guy incredible. One next year. He's going to be insane.
Yeah, how do you hit that? Like
you can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't.
Yamamoto's already insane. Like we have to, like he's the last month plus he's been incredible. Since his first that inning in Korea, his ERA is like 1.7 or something. Like he's been incredibly effective, and he truly has lived up to the hype. And I fully expect him to pitch at that level for the remainder of the season.
I'm a huge fan of digging up all the old tweets from Padres and Giants fans at the beginning of the season, and like laughing at them now. It's really good. It's a good way to spend your time.
People jumped on that after that game. That was like easy. Yeah.
Dumb people do dumb things.
Yes.
Beau, you mentioned at the top of this show the MVP race is wrapped up already.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's Ohtani. Yeah. Ohtani's the MVP. Like we don't have to do this whole thing throughout the season. It doesn't matter. He's going to win the MVP. I will tell you that right now. If gambling is legal wherever you live, wherever you're listening right now, run to your nearest sports book, put some money down on Ohtani to win MVP because it's going to happen. It's just like he's doing things that nobody expected him to do, and we all had sky-high expectations for him anyway. Look at everybody around him. Outside of Mookie Betts, nobody else is really doing anything of note in the National League right now. It just isn't. Yeah. Nobody cares about the stolen bases anymore. We all know that was a total fraud thing last year. Like, I saw that Ellie De La Cruz is on pace to steal like 91 bases this year. Like, we're supposed to care about stolen bases when you guys made it purposefully easier for that to happen. Like, that was so dumb last year. No one's gonna factor that in this year. But also, like, Acuna is not hitting well right now. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is not hitting well right now. Like, who in the National League is going to win MVP? Like, right. I'm sorry, Ellie De La Cruz is a great player, and I love him, but he's not going to win the MVP because he plays in Cincinnati and Shohei Ohtani plays in Los Angeles. Yeah. Like, when it comes down to that stuff, but like Ohtani also just statistically, as our friend of the show, Brandon Gutierrez, he either tweeted it or posted it, but like Ohtani historically, his hot month is June. So we still have like another month of Ohtani before he even usually gets going. So like this could totally be like when Bellinger won Rookie of the Year, just by having that insane April and being level throughout the rest of the season. So I mean, looking at the field right now, if you told me, I would take Ohtani. I don't even think it's that close.
Yeah. Because like outside, it's like Alec Boehm is having a great season.
Yeah,
and like that's it. Like, but like, what are you gonna? You're gonna give it the MVP to Alec Boehm.
And like, if it like Bryce Harper, I expect will be there. But again, like, there's gonna be voter fatigue for Bryce Harper. Like, it's the chance to give Ohtani the MVP in the National League. Yeah, I mean, I think that's stone cold lock of the century of the week right there.
Look looking at it now, he's leading in batting average right now, 355. He's leading in home runs with 11. Teoscar Hernandez tied for second with 10. Teoscar Hernandez in the top 5 for runs batted in. Shohei is leading in hits with 54. He's all over this page if you just look up. It's crazy. And then Tyler Glass now leading on the other side of pitching. Like if you just look up anything, it's Dodger heavy and Ohtani heavy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'd be willing to say, I know Shota Imanaga has been fantastic for the Cubs, but I'd be willing to still say that I think Yamamoto is going to win Rookie of the Year. I know that he's behind him right now, but I have more faith that Yamamoto is going to carry the production throughout the season than Imanaga.
There's no his ERA right now is like what 0.65 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna sustain that through the entire season. There's no way. If he does, then more. Yeah, congrats, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
That's like Ubaldo Jimenez stuff, dude. Like, good for you, man.
It's Jake Arrieta all over again.
Yeah. I also, real quick, like Teoscar Hernandez, I think, how was he not on that list of like best free agent signings? Because outside of Ohtani and Yamamoto, like he's probably 4th behind Imanaga. Like,
yeah.
Hernandez is absolutely that guy that's going to have like a 6 or 7 home run postseason.
Yeah.
And we're all just sitting there like, how did that guy get to the Dodgers for what he got there for? Like, that's crazy. He's done everything he's been asked to do since he got signed. Like, he literally does the exact thing they got him to do. So I love Teoscar. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Teoscar.
Beautiful.
Yeah. He also seems fun, right? Like he also seems like he's the party a bit. A little. I agree.
He's that guy that every team needs.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's like in August, but I have a feeling the vibes on this team are going to be really strong as we get into the dog days of summer.
I do want to say though, this is something I've been thinking about for a while. When we're talking about the positive vibes of this team, as they've had for the last couple of years. They have their signature celebration when they get on second, or whether this the Freddie was fun. This year's, I have a little bit of concern.
Okay, get out of here.
Listen, if I did that tweak 150 to 200 times a year, I'm pulling a muscle a couple times.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned. I think the odds say that somebody some point is going to do that tweak and they're going to pull their oblique and that's it.
My biggest question is how many of them actually know what Dragon Ball Z is? Like there's zero chance Freddie Freeman has ever seen an episode of Dragon Ball Z. No shot.
He's got 3 boys.
That's true.
They're young. I don't know if they're still.
Charlie's probably pushing like 8.
Yeah, I don't know. Dragon Ball Z was on TV out here when I was in elementary school. That was a long time ago. It was a long time ago, folks.
I mean, but Ryan, they do it so slowly.
Yeah. They're pro athletes. Come on, man.
Listen, they're also excited. All right. What if that adrenaline takes over and they really just get into work and they
actually wait. You're like in the postseason, Muncie's gonna do it and he's gonna pull something.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you're right.
Go his bicep or something.
Stop it. No more. Can I yell at a cloud real quick?
Yeah.
I hate celebrating singles. Every team does. It's stupid. It's like picking up a first down and pointing. I hate it. Celebrate a touchdown. Celebrate a double.
I mean, I agree.
You literally did the bare minimum of your job, and I'm supposed to allow you to celebrate.
Get a single. What are you talking about?
Who? What?
Some people can't even get a single because
That's
they
true.
can't get a base.
Oh my god! Can you imagine if Luis Arias couldn't celebrate hitting singles? He'd never get to have any fun. I maybe it's carryover from watching guys celebrate first downs in the NFL, but it's a single, man. It's It's a single.
My favorite thing is when guys celebrate first downs and they're a half a yard short. They get up and they're pointing, and you see on the yellow line, they are actually like a good 2 yards shy of it, and they're standing there going, and then Joe Buck's like, it's 4th and 2.
Was it Chase Claypool a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Like celebrated, and he was like well short of the first down, and he actually cost them the game doing that. That was awesome. That was so sick.
No, I say, you know what? Celebrate. It'd be even better if they do the same celebration for walks. They get.
That's what look, if you're gonna celebrate a single, you might as well get out there and celebrate a walk or a hit by pitch. It's the same thing. The result is the same.
Not the same.
Yeah, so it's just stop celebrating singles. Get down to first base and get ready to steal.
It's swing and strike 3 at a breaking ball that literally hits the grass before it hits the dirt, but it's gone so far the backstop that they take first base and they're standing there.
The only person that's allowed to celebrate singles at this point is Chris Taylor, because
yeah. Let's rub out here. All right, let's close this out. I really want to really quickly, because it's our closing of the show. Evan Phillips is currently on the injured list. Speaking of
rest in peace.
Tweaking some leg muscles.
You will be avenged.
We'll just do this rapid fire. Who do you feel most comfortable with closing a game right now without Evan Phillips?
That's easy for me.
Okay.
Who's it for
You
you?
want to go first?
Yes.
BLAQ, baby. Blake Trinan.
I actually have him on my short list.
God bless America.
I have him on my short list.
That first outing back, that was the farthest left Blake Trinan's ever gone.
Speaking of left, it's weird, but I feel good with Alex Vesia right now.
Those are my two.
Yeah, Vesia's been. I mean, I'll shout out to you, but I'll say Michael Grove too.
Hell yeah,
I have no issue with Michael Grove. Yeah, one inning a reliever.
Yeah.
And when he's back, I legit think you have to make Dustin May a relief pitcher.
Oh yeah.
Probably just be a one inning guy.
Yeah, this is a large conversation we'll have at some point in the future. But Dustin May is a closer of the future, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough. Give me Blake Trinan.
Yeah. So we'll
have him till at least November.
Yeah, and Daniel Hudson got the save on Wednesday against the Marlins, and that was good to see.
He's my third. So I had Blake Trinan and Alex Vesia are the two that I couldn't decide if I had to put all my marbles in one, and then Daniel Hudson was my third. But yeah, I think we're in a good position moving forward. Everybody seems to be delivering, including the bullpen, the starters. They're going long. Like it's looking good.
Monse Bolaños, nothing bad will happen to the Dodgers this year.
Shut up! Why are you putting shit out there?
That's the headline.
Well, with Beau back on the show, hopefully his statement about the Padres this weekend does not come to fruition. Or does, I don't remember if you said that now the Padres are sweeping the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Lock that one in.
Yeah, so that's where we're at now.
Lock of the century right there.
If that happens, it is Beau's fault.
Been nice knowing you guys.
That's
entirely Beau's fault.
It happens. All right. Well, until next time, hopefully the Dodgers keep this win streak rolling. Things are looking pretty fun right now. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Be sure to like and subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Search the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Follow us on Twitter at SickPodDodgers. For Monse, for Beau, I'm Ryan. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your evening.
Bye.
See you guys.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.